is the row that's erupted over Prince Harry's Sentebale charity damaging his reputation? We're taking your calls on this now. 0207 862 2222. The Prince set up Sentebale in his mother Diana's memory in 2006 to help young people with HIV in Lesotho and Botswana. He quit as a patron of the charity on Tuesday last week, and you want to hear these words. It's quite extraordinary. The charity's chair, Dr Sophie Chan-doe-ka, responded like this to his dramatic exit.
At some point on Tuesday, Prince Harry authorized the release of a damaging piece of news to the outside world without informing me, or my country directors, or my executive director. That is an example of harassment and bullying at scale. And so if the world didn't want to believe that there's such a thing as bullying, this unleashing of the Sussex machine on me and the 540 employees at Sentebale who received this and have had to defend it.
Well, by the way, when you say the Sussex machine, what are you talking about?
The PR machine that supports Prince Harry's efforts. The only way we discovered of his decision was through the Sussex machine activating newspapers.
Wow. I'm amazed. What do you make of it?
I think everyone so far has come out of this looking worse than they did before.
Her as well?
Yeah, I don't think it's
honest?
great. If you look at what the other trustees have said, they were completely unaware of the supposed bullying. Who knows what the truth is? I think spilling your guts in public in this way is never very appealing. So I don't think she looks great for it. She comes across as a very reasonable, very intelligent woman. But I don't think washing your laundry in public is ever a great thing. There's also a court case going on, so who knows where that will end up, but the truth will out.
What do you think, Jonathan?
Well, you know something, I just find it, Prince Harry and all of that, I just find it so boring. It's like, yet again, there's another sort of Prince Harry sort of controversy in the media, and everyone gets really excited about it. It's obviously on the front page of about 2 or 3 newspapers today. And I just think, like, who cares anymore? I mean, I'm just not into Prince Harry.
He wanted privacy. I
mean,
wish he'd keep it, because I am also so fed up of hearing about him. And it seems like he'd do anything for a headline until there's a headline he doesn't like, and then he'd do anything to quash it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the chuckered under the bus by Harry. It's a reference to polo, and it's essentially what seems to have happened here is Harry resigned because there was all these ructions, and the resignation threw shade on the woman we've just seen, who felt that her nose was out of joint. So she then gives this all-revealing interview, which then is basically a full frontal attack on him. And it's ugly, and we can agree on that. You know, you do not want a charity. I wouldn't think anyone would ever give any money to it. Again, it's the end of the charity, isn't it, really?
It sort of must be, but one of her complaints is that by him storming off from the UK in a strop to go to America, massively hurt their fundraising ability.
And in the end, I mean, look, you know, we don't really know whose version of events to believe, but in the end, this is a charity working with people in parts of Africa who are living with HIV and AIDS. It's presumably doing really, really important work, and it's such a shame for that group of people they work with, but that this charity is probably going to go down the drain.
Joining us now is lawyer and friend of the show, Paula Roan-Adrian. Paula, do you think Prince Harry can weather this storm?
I think he can weather this storm, and I think he should weather this storm. Whilst it's, of course, particularly unfortunate that these allegations are being made against him, we need to remember, of course, that the allegations are made not just against him, but against the other trustees and, of course, the other patron of this amazing charity, which is Prince Seeiso of Lesotho. Just to give you some background, Jeremy, this charity was, of course, set up not only in memory of Princess Diana and the work that she did in relation to people who were suffering with HIV and AIDS, but also in relation to Prince Seiso's mother. So this is a charity that goes to the very heart of these two men who wanted to do good for the children of Lesotho in particular.
Do you think part of this then is to do with just Harry being magnetised in a way that seems to mean any story about Harry is a negative story?
Absolutely. And that's what's so disappointing and frankly vulgar. What I don't want to do is in any way minimise or diminish what Dr Chan-doe-ka is suggesting has happened to her. We all know how hard it is for survivors of bullying, particularly in the workplace, to step forward and to raise their allegations, to raise their grievances. And so I don't want to in any way do that. But let's be frank, if you put Prince Harry on screen, if you put Prince Harry in print, it's going to attract attention. And unfortunately, it's very negative attention, which may then sway or unfairly or unduly sway people's decision about what could have happened in these circumstances.
What do you think of that, Jonathan?
Well, look, I mean, yes, but he courts controversy, doesn't he? He cannot help it. You know, the way in which the things he comes out with, the way in which he behaves. Look, I don't know which side of this argument to believe. I suspect it will all come out in the wash to a certain extent. But in the end, you know, as I just come back to this original point I made, I mean, how many more times are we going to have to hear about these ongoing soap drama of Prince Harry and Meghan and all the rest of it?
Well, he's Diana's son. That makes him important, I guess. I mean, the chukkered headline here, just to explain it, is to do with the fact that there was a polo fundraiser that was organised by Sentebale, at which Harry was supposed to basically front up as the founder. And then he seemed to get Netflix along, and then his wife shows up. And I mean, actually, Paula, that's pretty bad form, isn't it? Because once Meghan's there, it's not about Sentebale anymore.
Oh, goodness me, Jeremy. Even your comment, and then his wife shows up. I mean, come on, guys. When are we going to get over Meghan? It's his wife. It's fine for her to be at events like this. It's fine for her to support her husband. And I have to say, I did wonder, with a roll of my eyes, how long it was going to take for Meghan to be somehow embroiled in this. I mean, when the inevitable asteroid hits the planet, we know who's going to be to blame for that as well, don't we?
Helen's in Middlesbrough. Helen, do you think this is bad news for Harry?
No. Not being funny, but she said she has evidence. She's done at least 2 interviews. Why has she produced any of this evidence?
Well, of bullying? Well, I think the evidence is all from the last 2 days, isn't it? It's the way that he announced he was leaving and didn't tell her.
Well, so did the other co-founder. Why isn't she crying about him?
Yeah. OK, so you think it doesn't affect Harry at all?
No, I don't think it doesn't affect Harry. I think that she used Harry's name instead of using everybody's because she knew it would gain traction.
Yeah. OK, Helen, thank you. Patty in Ayrshire, do you think this is bad for Harry?
No, I don't. And I agree with the lady that was on just now and your lawyer lady. I mean, it is all about, you know, you brought up Meghan. Nobody, you know, we don't bring Meghan up. We don't say, oh, she's supporting her husband. Nobody says, oh, you know, Catherine's supporting William. And the thing is, she actually sued the charity because she was asked to resign.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to explain the Sun headline, but, you know, and Meghan is part of this, whether we like... I mean, there we go, Annunziata. As Paula says, Meghan's name comes in and suddenly it's like a saloon bar brawl here.
Oh, and of course Meghan's name comes in because they are a celebrity couple. That having no longer being part of the royal family, they are a celebrity couple, but they are a couple. And she's the actress and he's the prince, and it's the, you know, happy ever after show, except for the fact that they seem to have fallen out with a hell of a lot of people, including, I believe it's 18 resignations from Team Harry and Meghan since they left the UK. And fine, you know, to fall out with 1 or 2 staff is one thing, but this is getting quite chronic.
Caroline in Essex High.
Do we know...
Oh, sorry, go on.
Do we know... Forgive me, Jeremy, but, you know, we can quote how many people have resigned or have stepped down from their roles in relation to their working relationship regarding Meghan and Harry. Can we say that in regards to the royal family? Are there any numbers? Are there any statistics? Are there any facts and figures in relation to the amount of people who wanted to raise grievances in regards to their employee of the royal family?
I guess not.
There isn't.
No.
We'll never know that.
It just sounds like a big number when we talk about the two of them, but you're right, maybe that's loaded as well. Maybe it's just horrible working in a royal setting, period. Stay with us all. We're taking calls after the break on whether this row over allegations that Prince Harry's a bully will damage his reputation, or whether actually, as we've heard, that maybe actually just the world is loaded against him. The dice are loaded. Calls on Harry. and it's all kicked off at his charity, and whether there'll be people who say, well, if Harry's involved, it's always going to end in chaos, and other people say, well, he might be on the receiving end this time. So we'd love your thoughts on whether the allegations of bullying and harassment from the charity will damage him. The next caller is Caroline. Hi, Caroline. Sorry, we kept you waiting there, Caroline. How are you doing?
It's not a problem. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. So what do you think?
Well, I agree with most of the panel. I think he's been shoved under the bus by this woman. She knows she's on a short wicket, and the only one she can attack is Harry. You know, as you said, 18 people before him had resigned. So that must say something.
Hang on, I thought you were saying he'd been treated unfairly, and now you're saying actually he's got a litany of victims behind him.
No, I think he's been treated desperately unfairly.
Oh, OK. Why did all those people resign then?
But they resigned before him because of her.
Oh, because of Meghan?
Harry.
Oh.
No, because of the lady who was in charge of the charity, their chairman.
Well, yeah, I mean, they didn't all resign from that charity, but...
Meghan.
OK, all right, I've got you. But listen, maybe everyone is... He's obviously an injured character, and he needs a bit of tender, loving care, doesn't he, old Harry? Do you agree with that?
I think he seems to need public adoration, and having left the royal family is finding it harder and harder to get. And I feel very sorry for him, but that doesn't mean we need to hear about every ins and outs of the Harry and Meghan show.
Well, I'm starting to find it... I'm sorry to go the other way from you two, saying it's all boring. I was bored by it 5 years ago. I've suddenly got interested. I've got started to get interested. Because this is this is a really fascinating situation. It tells us a lot about our country. Does it? Well, because he's operating as a kind of outrider to the royal family. So, you know, he will suddenly launch a commentary about the royal family, and people think, is he telling the truth or are they telling the truth?
I think he's said everything he's got to say. Spare spilt so many beans and was completely vile book. But what more have they got to say?
Well, we'll wait to see. There's something going on every weekend at the moment. Thanks, Caroline. Martin in Flintshire, are you on Team Harry here?
Not at all, sir.
So, because a lot of people are saying, look, come on, you know, this can happen.
Yeah. He wants to move to America. Great stuff. That's fine. He wants to live with Meghan Markle in the States. That's fine. You know, I've got no problem with that. We'll give up your dukedom. If you want to live in America, how can you be the Duke? I think it's Sussex, isn't it? How can you be the Duke of Sussex if you're living in America?
My theory, I'll tell you what my theory about that is, Martin, is that he's always going to be Diana's son. And if you're Diana's son, you're one of the most important people in the world. End of story. So
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You know, I thought the world of Diana. It was very sad when she died and everything else. You know, and while I'm not a complete and utter royalist, I do believe that, you know, having the royal family is a benefit to the country. But if he wants to go and live in America, which is fine, that's okay. But you have to give up your dukedom. You have to stop receiving money from our money.
Does he take money? I'm not sure he does. I mean, Charles has given him money directly, hasn't he? But I don't think he takes any kind of civil money anymore.
He got cut off.
He got cut off, yeah. Thanks, Martin. Emma in Stoke, hello.
Hi.
How is Stoke today?
Oh, it's pleasant. Very pleasant.
Yeah. I was up there a while back, and it was nice and sunny, actually. Is it sunny today?
It's lovely up on Golden Hill.
Oh, lucky you. So what do you think of Harry?
Well, I love Harry. I love William. Now, you see, the thing is, I think it was a nice gesture. You see, that lady, Sophie, she doesn't understand how charity is, like, initiated and raised. Can you imagine, at the end of a polo match, with all Harry's mates, how much they would have thrown in the pot? With Netflix following as well? Jesus, she don't know the opportunity that she made the charity miss out on.
Yeah.
And there is no I in team. And she must go back to the foundations of charity. Hold on. Charity, Harry is the patriot. Patriot.
Right. Are you originally from Stoke, Emma?
No, I'm from South London.
I thought so.
Originally. No, it doesn't matter where I'm
No,
born.
I just love your accent. I hear what you're saying. That if he launches the person I called the wife earlier at the charity polo event, maybe it becomes a better event. Maybe we're seeing this the wrong way round, Jonathan.
Well, I think Emma's absolutely spot on that, actually. I stick to my original position. I'm very bored of talking about Harry all the time, reading about it. But nonetheless, I think him taking Meghan to a big charity event, that's probably a good thing. People probably want to...
It commercialises it. It commercialises it if he says, can we have Netflix filming it?
I think that was the complaint. It was that, first of all, having Netflix there, it had been a donated venue and they then retracted it being donated and wanted to charge because it was commercial. But it was thanks to Harry, they found an alternative venue last minute. And it was that Meghan...
hang on a minute.
They didn't know she was coming at all and everything had been choreographed without her being an extra person on stage. I think both of those are really pathetic complaints, actually.
Hang about. Isn't, like, Netflix, like, sort of following them around, as it were?
Fly on the wall thing,
and trying to give a sense
suppose.
of... And them doing charity events is part of their life, so why wouldn't they film that?
Emma, what do you think? Was he wrong to say to to the charity boss, hey, Netflix will be showing up later, is that OK?
What kind of an audience is Netflix going to... how many more people are going to see this charity via Netflix? Some people, it's going worldwide. If I'm a charity, I want people to know about my charity. And if I'm going to get it boomed around the world by Netflix on a flick of a button with the Prince, with his wife, with Serena Williams, and then we're on Netflix, and then with all Harry's mates. Look, you missed a golden opportunity.
OK, that's interesting. We've got quickly Bill in 20 seconds on Bill. What do you think, Bill? Sympathy with Harry or the opposite?
Oh, Harry, absolutely. Harry, you'll see this unravel over the next few days and find out that this lady has told more lies than anything. What you're finding now is that she's imported one of William's henchmen, as he was sitting next to her on the programme with on their Sky yesterday. The same as the imported Jason Knopf when they tried to beat the Daily Mail.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks for all your calls on this later.